Hello, listeners, and welcome to the 100th episode of Vaguely Scientific. We got our time vortex generator running just in time to bring you a very special broadcast. We have sent David back in time with a few members of our panel to the dawn of human civilization to be the first person to count from 1 to 100. And we have a correspondent with a transchronal radio channel open with us to keep us in the loop here in the distant future. So let's check in with Jeremiah before we get started with the episode today. Hello, Jeremiah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Derek. Thank you, of course. As you have described beforehand, we are attempting a world first. I am coming from you, from the cradle of humanity itself, Mesopotamia, in the year, well, I would say before zero, but we haven't invented that yet. It is part of the plan for today to bring numbers, a full set of 1 to 100 for the first time in the history of the world. The numbers 1 through 100 will be recited and, in fact, invented here. What a great day for Vaguely Scientific and therefore the world.
Can you tell us what does the crowd look like where you are right now?
Well, the crowd all looks to be about 4.5 feet tall. It is very exciting. We have some hominids that are here, and also some people from the future that we sent out some very strategic invites indeed. We also, of course, have a massive throng of a crowd gathering around the platform on which David, yes, David, is our counter for today. The, dare I say, most reliable, numerically, of our team.
And what does his mental state appear to be in this momentous occasion?
Well, I've heard him rehearsing. I believe that he is ready to do so. I can imagine stage fright is hard when you have the entirety of human history completely riding on your ability to remember every single number from 1 to 100. In fact, there's a possibility that if he makes even a single mistake right now, it will alter the entire history of humanity as we know it.
Well, I'm sure he will do fine, and we won't have to worry about that. Well, thank you very much, and we will check back in with you a little later in the program to find out how this is all going.
Yes, I do believe we are going to be started here shortly, and that's the sounding gong. Everyone is headed to their seats. We have actually invented chairs for this event, and they are now, well, some of them appear to be trying to sit down with the chairs on top of them, using them for shade. But when you come back to us, I believe we will have started very briefly. Everyone is very excited. What a great day for Vaguely Scientific and therefore the world.
I am loading up my show notes here. Yes, it says that I am Derek. That makes sense. Joining me as always is Jim, who is ready to try to work space into this episode somehow. Hi, Jim.
I don't know, Mars or something.
And finally, tell all your friends to run over and meet our special guest this week. We have Adam Savidan on the show. Hello, Adam.
Hello. Hi.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am a 38-year-old adult male. I live in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm 6'5". I hate fishing. I don't like the outdoors. What else?
I think I know you. I think I know you pretty well now.
Yeah. I'm a member of Loading Ready to Run. We're a comedy troupe based out of here in Victoria. I'm a streamer. I guess I'm a YouTuber. I make content. Mm-hmm. I don't like that word. I don't know why I said it, but I don't know what else to say.
Right.
I'm a content maker.
It's seeping into your vernacular.
Yeah, I've been doing it full time for 6 years now.
Wow, yeah.
And like part time for like 8.
Whew.
Yeah, 8 years.
That's a lot of content you have made. And
Yes,
then
I
uploaded.
don't even want to think about the number of hours I've streamed in my life because it's a lot. Because it's been since June. I basically started streaming in like June of 2014.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And I've been going since then. And I even did like a 365 day streaming thing where like you stream every day.
Whoa.
wow.
And I did that while I was working, when I still had a full-time job. Like I was
Ooh,
working
boy.
and then I would like work 9 to 5 and then I would stream from 6 till 9 or whatever. And then,
Whew.
so I've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for doing it with us. Right?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I think the idea of this show is brilliant. By the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love, this is exactly the kind of stuff I like talking about. You
And
know?
here's your $20.
Yeah, all right. Oh man, the easiest $20 I ever made.
Nice. Also, I do want to mention that you're one of the few people I've met that's taller than me because I'm only 6'3".
Oh,
So
right.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
get that a lot. A lot of people don't realize how tall I am because I'm sitting down when they see me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So they only see me like top half, and then I'm all leg. So I stand like when I first started going to conventions and stuff like PAX and what else? Wow, PAX. And people are like, "Wow, you're actually giant." I'm like, yeah. I'm a big lad.
Nice. Well, we're hoping that we're going to have some fun with you and that you don't totally hate this experience.
I'm sure. I guarantee you I will not.
So this is the show where we answer the most ridiculous audience-submitted questions in a manner that we like to call vaguely scientific, which is why we call the show that.
Oh, yeah.
But before we get to those questions, why don't we move on to Jim's fun science fact of the day?
All right. This one is sort of tangentially related to the number 100. Fermium is a synthetic element and is number 100 on the periodic table.
Ooh.
And it was first discovered in the world's first successful hydrogen bomb test.
The element was discovered in the test of the bomb? Is that-
Yeah. It was it's a synthetic element. There's no fermium out in nature because it's just
Oh, I see.
too heavy. It spontaneously breaks down. But in the hydrogen bomb test, it made a bunch of new elements that we got to study.
Hold up. I got a question. As not a science person, so what happened? The bomb went off and they're like, what's that?
That was what I wanted to know.
Actually, yeah.
They're like, what's that? And they're like, I don't know. I've never seen that before. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, basically, because they
Yeah.
I was reading about, I guess they were like flying planes that had these little drop cloths that they could use to scoop up particles and see what happened, because they didn't know. They'd never blew up a hydrogen bomb before, so they did all kinds of wild tests, and yeah, they discovered some new elements, which is kind of cool.
Huh. That's wild.
Did they discover or accidentally invent the elements?
Both.
Both. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, before we tackle our first question, why don't we check to see how things are going with David in the past?
All right.
All right, Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Through time immemorable and innumerable until today, I can hear you. Here in the past, as you come to me from the future.
Excellent. Now, I assume we are well underway. Can you tell us what is going on now?
Yes, we are well under our way right now. You can probably hear David in the background enunciating each number, and some of the locals have actually broken their chairs to be able to carve the numbers into the ground as a form of cuneiform, actually. I believe I'm currently witnessing tally marks being invented. It's very exciting. The judges, of course, from the future, are verifying every number that he is saying out loud. And, what's this?
We're gonna be here all
We have some of the future judges. There seems to be a little bit of a controversy that have broken out. David has ceased speaking, and yes, okay. It appears that the decision from the judges is that David has actually skipped the number 11. 11 was skipped. We went straight bang on from 10 to 12. I believe that they're discussing whether or not the number 11 is entirely important in all of human history, or if we are just simply going to restart. And Yes, that's the hand motion. It appears that if we reach any sort of issue, we're just simply going to have David restart the feat. Never before in history has this happened before, so it's important to get it right the first time for all time, of course. I suppose David is going to get started again here momentarily, and... Well, I suppose when you come back, we'll be a little further behind than you were expecting, but hopefully we'll have caught up to where we were hoping to be.
Well, it certainly sounds like there are some interesting developments. We will check in with you again shortly. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yes, thank you. What a great day for Vaguely Scientific and therefore the world.
Well, it seems we've gotten off to a bit of a false start there, but no worries. We'll check back in later in the program. But in the meantime, question 1 this week comes to us from Detective Roland Big. Screen name, I assume.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, oh man.
Question 1. Say you're a superhero, and one day you'll lose your powers, but you don't know when. Would you fly?
Okay, so does it have to be flying specifically, or can I pick anything?
I mean, if your powers aren't flying, then the answer is no, you wouldn't fly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah, would I fly? I mean, flying is like the de facto answer.
It's
right?
the default, yeah.
It's like the default answer that everybody gives anytime they're like, if you had a superpower, or teleportation.
Or teleportation.
Right.
Yeah. But those are so boring. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like, yeah, I get it. But like
everyone can teleport and fly. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do something more unique here.
But what I think about is like, if you're given, okay, let's say you get superpowers to fly or teleport, but the human body is a frail, fragile thing. So you wouldn't be able to do anything. Like you wouldn't be able to go up as high as you think you could.
Right.
That's true.
You wouldn't be able to breathe if you get too high.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing that not a lot of people think about. Like, I feel like I'm the person in the back, like with my hand up, and I'm like, I have a question. They're like, no more questions. Like, yeah, I got one. I just like everyone ignores me. It's like, don't you realize that like you would just die anyway? Like, a lot of people will go up, pass out, and then just fall down and die.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
I got put on blast a couple weeks ago because I was advocating tying groundhogs to weather balloons so they could make more accurate forecasts. And
okay,
but they would die is the problem, and that's what they yelled at me for.
That's the reason you were put on blast. In case it wasn't clear.
Okay, I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't pick flying.
You wouldn't pick flying. Okay.
No, I mean, I would. Okay, look, you give any human a superpower, they're immediately you run. I don't know, 95% to become a supervillain. Like, your average human is just not going to be able to control their instincts or
power corrupts, right?
Yeah, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think I would pick like super strength.
Oh.
Right? Because I mean, you'd probably be able to you'd game it, right? Like you could, I don't know, I'd cheat at the Olympics.
Oh,
cheat at the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess it would be. Would it be testable? If it's new and nobody else has it, would it show up on like basic? It wouldn't show up on like steroid tests or anything, right? So like, it's not like I would argue
that you wouldn't be cheating if it was just a natural ability that you had.
Yeah,
you'd just be unbeatable. I don't know.
Yeah.
But herein lies the dilemma.
Yeah, it's like, would that be fun?
Would that be fun? That's always been my argument against like Superman's dad not allowing him to play football. Or I used to watch Smallville, and they always had Clark Kent kind of like fast cars and dirt bikes and stuff. And I'm like, how is that fun for him at all?
Yeah.
He can just run at a base speed that is infinitely faster than that.
Because he's trying to fit in, I guess.
He's trying to fit in, yeah.
I always thought it was weird that Sonic the Hedgehog drives a car in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
Right? Like, must seem so slow to you.
Yeah.
That's true. I never thought about that. It's like, why is he driving a car? Wait a second.
It's because of the rules. He can only have so far of a top speed, I guess.
I mean, he would tire out, I guess. He doesn't have infinite energy, right? I guess
That's true.
Drives a car.
I assume it's like Shonen Jump rules where Sonic runs for a while and then he has to like eat 6 plates of food.
Yes, you got to recharge.
Yeah.
So like, okay, and the caveat of the question is like, it's going to run out one day, but we just don't know when.
You don't know when. You're guaranteed that it is going to stop.
Oh man, I think it doesn't end well at any point for any
Right?
superpower you pick.
Right?
Unless you just pick like a real boring one, like I don't know, you have a super smell.
Super
oh,
smell.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're like a bloodhound.
If X-ray vision runs out on you, it's not really gonna.
You know,
Hurt.
I might pick perfect pitch because people with
Ooh.
perfect pitch ultimately lose it when they get older anyway.
Oh.
Ooh. What can you do with perfect pitch though?
I mean, I'm a musician, so like it's
Okay.
I don't think you can do much with it.
Yeah, you can't be a supervillain.
I was thinking of something that like I wouldn't really miss when it was
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
Like,
Right. Well, I was thinking about like heat rays from my eyes. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't do anything good with them except
No.
cause problems.
You could be a welder.
That's just a super villain waiting to happen. It's
It
like, what
is.
can you do? It's like, I can shoot lasers out of my eyes. What can you do with it? I don't know. Kill people, I guess.
Yeah.
Your two options are kill people or work in a body shop.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the problem that I always run into is like I always think about like eye lasers while I'm driving, and someone cuts me off, and I'm like, I could just laser your tires out right now.
So you're going into it with villain mindset.
I don't
Yeah.
mean to. It's just people are bad at
Dude,
driving.
I just think that you could not. Nobody, no, there's not a human alive that would be able to just like get the power and then use it responsibly.
Right? Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Maybe Mr. Rogers.
I'd at least want to come up with a way to like support myself while doing heroic
Oh.
deeds.
Yeah.
I'd want to use the superpowers to make money and then also help, you know, people who need help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the most like reasonable way to go around it. Like you would just like snap pick like, I don't know, super intelligence, I guess. Like you're just
Oh,
a genius,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you can just like hit the stock market and work in stocks or I don't know, do a bunch
Yeah.
of things. Super intelligence is limitless, right? Like,
Right.
oh, that was good joke, Adam.
Yeah.
yeah, I guess
And as
there's
long
no-
as it doesn't run out too fast, then you've already made your money, and you can.
yeah.
You've already made it. You don't need it anymore.
But okay, so if you pick super intelligence when it runs out, what intelligence level are you at?
Which intelligence was super and which was just your normal intelligence?
Right.
Like, is it all gone and you don't? But what if you don't go back to normal?
oh no.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
what
you
if the
have
baseline
less?
is it like if it's gone? Like, if it's gone, I'm assuming it's all gone.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
That's like
sense.
flowers for Algernon there.
Oh no, now I'm sad. Thanks, Jim.
yeah. Yeah, I don't. Oh man, because flying, you die.
Yeah.
Super strength, you probably die because you're probably in the middle of doing something that you need to be super strong
Yeah,
for,
right.
and
That's
you
the
just get
risk
crushed.
there,
Yeah.
I was thinking with flight, I could like use it in a limited basis to like, I don't know, paint the ceiling. And then if it runs out, I only fall 4 or 5 feet, you know?
Well, so
you're just doing stuff around the house.
Yeah.
if we're assuming it has to be flying, here's my thoughts on this. I would think I would only fly at very low altitudes and I wouldn't go very fast. And
Okay.
at that
Oh.
point, how reliable of a superhero am I anyway?
Yeah.
You're not. You're
You're
a
not.
stage magician. You're
Yeah.
Chris Angel.
Yeah.
You could make a lot of money doing Chris Angel things.
The alternative is wear a parachute all the time.
True.
So, wait. Okay. So how do you? All right. Hold up.
I can fly, but I might not be able to fly tomorrow, and it might be when I'm 200 feet in the air.
Could you imagine you're rescuing somebody and you got them like in the fireman's carry and they're like, what's this parachute for? It's like, oh, don't worry about that.
I'm googling it right now. How heavy is a parachute?
How heavy is a
Because
parachute?
if you're going to walk around with a parachute all day,
Yeah.
okay, most skydiving centers will say their weight limit for a tandem passenger is approximately 200 to 220 pounds. Okay, so that's the weight of the
Person,
limit. But
yeah.
I want to know how much. Hold up, 31 pounds. But still, that's 31 pounds around all the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you're
boy.
flying, so like, are you?
Yeah, but you got to fly with extra 31 pounds of weight on your back.
How strenuous is it to fly?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need to.
yeah.
How hard is it to fly? You know,
Right?
Is it I feel like it's not an unlimited thing because everything has energy. You can't just like. Everyone also thinks that like, oh, I could just fly forever. It's like, no, it has to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
your body,
yeah.
it's either your body working overtime or like, I don't know, like,
I think about like, if could you carry people while you were flying? Because like, you're not actually like lifting them any
Yeah.
higher than you're lifting yourself. So
right,
Mhm.
right.
I would say no, because like, yeah, you need to, I guess if you can't like actually physically lift it, I don't see how you would be able to fly with it. Because like when you're holding, have you ever held another person like in like a, like a baby or like,
Right.
like you're like a newlywed, like, you know what I mean? Like that's hard.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's not like effortless.
It's another human being. Like they're weird. And
usually when you're carrying a person, it's not like centered. You have to like hold your arms out, or it's like off to one side. Like, like you said, I have a baby, so it's like always on my left side. And so I'm like tilted.
You're tilted.
Yeah. So I don't think, oh man, I think flight's the worst option.
It is. Yeah.
There needs to be rules, right? You know what I mean? It's not just you get the thing and that's it and you can do it whenever you want. It's like, I mean, the most of the best superpowers have good limitations, right?
Yeah.
But nobody ever thinks about the limitations.
I was thinking about telekinesis might be a good one, that if it runs out, who cares, Because what are you doing with telekinesis? Well, if you lift a vase and it runs out, then you got to clean up glass. But like, I mean, that's not bad.
I mean, I like your idea of a stage magician.
Ooh, yeah.
Because like you would make a ton of money. You'd be you could do telekinesis, and then
nobody ever proved how I did it.
Yeah, no one would ever be able to prove how you did it.
No, I don't perform those tricks anymore. Leave me alone. I'm retired.
Is there? I would say I like the rule that like if anybody ever finds out you have a superpower, it immediately ends.
Oh, and you have to hide it.
You have to hide it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I like stuff like that where it's like, I mean, this is off tangent, but I like hypothetical questions like that where it's like you're like a best-selling writer and you can write like top 10 New York Times bestsellers, but you're illiterate.
But you can only do it when you
and if anyone finds out that you can't read, you can't write like you just lose the power, and stuff like that. Like I just like, oh man. So like if anybody ever finds out that you have telekinesis, and we need to remember we live in the social media age.
Oh sure, yeah, that's true.
There's cameras everybody has a little camera on them all the time.
You're gonna get caught.
Yes, you are absolutely gonna get caught.
That reminded me of Mystery Men, and the invisible boy could only be invisible when nobody was looking at him.
I was actually thinking of what was that cartoon? The Wild Thornberrys, where the girl could talk to animals, but if anyone ever found out she could talk to animals, then she'd lose that power.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be such a shame.
Yeah. It actually happened in the movie. I never saw the movie. I want to know how it resolved because I saw a trailer for it, and I'm like, this looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think telekinesis is the safest answer just because, but everything else like has such a, and like when you lose the super strength, like do you go, because like losing telekinesis, you go back to baseline, you're just a normal human being, right?
Yeah.
We know what human beings without telekinesis are.
I think that when you lose the superpower, you just go to like, you're like frail, like, you know what I mean? Like you just lose I think it's like takes everything. Because it becomes like all you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're super strength, if your whole body's super powered, then that is you. Right. And when it's taken away, you lose everything.
Right. Well, that's like if you go up into space and you're an astronaut, you got to keep exercising or your muscles atrophy.
Yes.
So if you rely on your superpower, then your normal body functions might atrophy the same way. So
yeah. The second I found that out about astronauts, I swore off going into space ever. I was like, that stuff freaks me out. I don't know why, but I mean, like, I when I was a kid, I was like, I want to be an astronaut. And then I found out about muscle atrophy, and I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm good.
I don't know if you've heard this one, but your eyes change shape in space because gravity usually forms them correctly, and without gravity, a lot of fluids in your eyes move around,
and your vision can get worse.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. Right?
Like what? Okay. What? I mean, we're going off tangent, but now you've said it. What shape? Well, like, okay, hold on. If I Google eye shape in space, am I going to get in trouble?
No,
like, am I going to get put on a list or like?
We're on so many lists already.
Yeah. It's more like you get like an astigmatism where you eventually will have to get glasses.
Oh, it just like, it doesn't like.
Oh no, it doesn't turn like into a square.
Yeah. Okay. They don't like turn into like, I don't know, man, squares or like, you know what I mean? They don't just like, they don't change physical shape. They your eyesight gets worse.
Yeah. It like deforms
Yeah.
Which is bad enough, I think.
Have you ever seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you know when he makes his eyes into daggers?
Yeah.
The villain? Yeah, it's like that. That's what happens in space. It's just like
Wait, that's why that's why they call astronauts dagger eyes,
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
I've heard that
That's
many
where-
times.
Everybody knows that. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. A bunch of people are now frantically Googling to see if I've never heard that expression before.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm learning something new today.
Yeah. I have one last important question about this question. And I was
Okay.
thinking about teleportation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like, if it ran out while you were teleporting,
You're dead.
yeah, exactly,
You
right?
don't come back. You're gone. You're particles, right? Because like, I mean, I'm assuming the way teleporting works is that you burst up. Like, isn't it like, okay, I found out recently that, not recently, this is a couple years ago, but I'm not a Star Trek person. But isn't like Star Trek, like they make a new copy of you? Or there's an argument that's like,
It's debatable, but yeah.
there's like a debate where it's like, is it a new copy of the person or is it your same self just
Yeah.
reassembled?
We
Yeah.
we
Right.
actually talked about that once on this show, and we determined that it depends on the writer.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. I think baseline teleportation is this, like you are breaking apart your base matter
Yeah.
apart and then having, I don't know, whatever I guess the superpower is your ability to make it all combine where it's supposed to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
and reappear. But I mean, do you stop existing mid teleport?
Ooh.
Yeah. It depends if you're, it's scientifically speaking, there would have to be some space in between when you left and when you appeared. But like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you could make the argument if you're saying this is like magical teleportation where you're just instantly there. Right?
Yeah.
So it depends on a lot of things, all of which are impossible to test.
Yeah.
Yes. Sadly, we cannot test this.
There is an anime that I watched, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. It's called Martian Successor Nadesco.
Okay.
And they their sort of teleportation is sort of grounded in the idea of relativity, where they're not teleporting, they're actually traveling back in time and then reappearing at the instant that they left by moving through space, like sort of
Oh.
like a subspace thing. And I didn't explain it well because I can't, but
Yeah.
but that's kind of an interesting idea where they never really stop existing. They just kind of like dip out of reality, go back in time, and then reappear where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's funnier if you stop existing because that
Yeah.
adds some real spookiness to it. It adds some stakes because, like, do you really want to teleport and then just like you're gone?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't feel it,
Right.
Right, yeah.
right? Nothing. What happens? Like you're just like, and you're just like you're gone. You're just
Gone.
You're just gone. That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's really losing the crapshoot there. If
Oh boy, yeah.
you just your power happens to run out just at the moment that you've disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because how little of your time are you spending teleporting, and to
Yeah.
just have it happen right then?
Right then.
What if you get the superpower and literally an hour later it stops working? Like that's going to happen, right? For some people, it's like you get the superpower and then you get an hour, you know?
Yeah, it's like, oh well, I got cheated here.
This is one of those. This is one of those like you get the genie who's a jerk,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm going to grant your wish, but it's going to be like a twisted version of it. Like you
Yeah.
can fly, go ahead and test it out. Oh, ran out.
It's the cursed monkey paw. It's a monkey
Yeah.
paw, right?
Yeah.
It's the
It's
monkey
just
spot. Yeah.
Did you ever see, Adam? I'm specifically asking you,
Yeah.
because it's a Canadian cartoon, and I'm just lumping you all together.
Oh,
Yes,
that thing.
yeah. People do it to us all the time.
Yeah, there was a Canadian cartoon that I saw where it was about teleportation, and it was like the scientist invented a teleporter, and the lady was like, "How does it work?" And he didn't want to show her because what it did was it created a copy and killed the original. And I think it was from the 70s, so it's pretty old. But
Man, I don't know. You don't know the name of it?
oh, I do. It's called To Be.
To be?
But it's like a 10-minute cartoon. They had a programming block on Cartoon Network that was all Canadian cartoons, and that's where I saw it. So
God, I want to
I thought that was called the Prestige.
hold up. I've Googled it. I know this is great podcast, but yes, I have seen this.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I've been
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
people about this cartoon for years, and they look at me like I've grown two heads.
And now, no, I've
They're
seen
like,
it.
"Was this for kids?
Yeah, no.
Was this some kind of weird Adult Swim thing that they created?"
Yeah, that was just they just let anything on TV, really.
Right.
I mean, like pre-internet TV was like the Wild West. They kind of just did whatever they wanted, right?
Yeah.
It's never going to air again, so why?
Yeah. What are they going to do? Email us?
Mm-hmm. What are they going to do? Get on social media?
Oh no.
Yeah. So the last one that I wrote down is like, don't pick shape shifting. Don't do that one.
No.
Oh.
Absolutely not. No. Because like you could get stuck midway through.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think of that one. I was just thinking like, oh, you get stuck as a bee or something, but that's even worse.
Oh man.
Animal hybrids are coming out.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Or like, I mean, like you could do like an added, like if you were like Ant-Man, you know, you could change your size.
Oh,
you get stuck as like a little man, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
You're like, you end up like that dude from you ever seen that, like there used to be on the cup guy on
on Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, yeah.
Yeah.
You just end up like
right.
that. What was his name? There was a thing. He's like something guy.
Like something super guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tiny little super guy? Maybe.
Tiny little super guy. I think you're right. You'll end up like tiny little super guy.
I loved those sketches.
It's been a very long time.
They were great.
Live action, like stop motion stuff is so cool. From the 70s specifically, because they had so little to work with and they made it cool.
Yeah. It's like man, it sucks, and I hate to be like, okay, boomer, you know what I mean? Like, but like when I was like, it's just stuff like that you don't really see anymore because I mean, our technology's better, right? We can get better quality or better, you know, everything.
Yeah.
And it's just a nature of like technology moving forward, but it's still kind of like, man, I wish it was like the Harryhausen, skeletons being animated
like
and stuff.
King Kong
it's like,
and
yeah,
yeah,
it's great, man.
I saw a video of someone. I don't know what the movie was, but it was just an actor walking through a room that was just one big green screen, and it's like superimposed next to them what they were actually doing in the movie.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they were walking for miles, and they like walked into this shop, and all these things were happening around them, and they were just in a green room, and I'm like, that's got to be really depressing.
Yeah, that must be incredible. Like, I'm not an actor. Well, not in the traditional sense. I guess I'm kind of an actor, but like, I don't know how they do it. You know? That's real skill, I think.
Ian McKellen was really upset that he never got to interact with who played Frodo. Shoot.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. Yeah. Ian McKellen was really upset he never actually directly sat in front of Elijah Wood.
Wow.
Wait, what?
It was all forced perspective because the hobbits are so much smaller.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's super
Ian McKellen
wild.
specifically being like a trained stage actor would be used to.
Mm-hmm.
So the collective
There's some things that like never pass through my tiny gorilla brain, you know. When I look at them, I'm like, I don't think about it like that, you know.
Right.
Oh man.
There's magic there in the movie.
Yeah, there is. Make the picture box go, and I bang on the TV. You know?
I just thought Elijah Wood was that much shorter than Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I just thought he was a tiny little super guy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on to the second question for this episode, perhaps we should see how David's doing down at the Dawn of Humanity.
Good idea, Jim. Let me just turn on the transchronal radio again. All right, well, let's check back in with our correspondent in the field, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, what is happening now?
Derek, you have reached us at an exciting milestone. We have not only caught up to where we wanted to be, we have surpassed it. David is well over halfway through. I believe he just spoke 58, which is important. We are well underway, getting a couple of numbers in through here. I just have to say, for people who absolutely may be learning numbers for the first time and are copying them down in cuneiform, it is amazing to have such a student. We have another bit of controversy stemming from the judges again.
Oh, no.
Can we check the notes?
My stars. It appears that the issue that they are having now is whether or not David said the number 60 as in 60 just now, or 16 as in 16. Of course, you can't double your numbers, especially if it's got to be one that goes from one to the other, as this is the first time this is ever going to happen. And the discussion is whether or not the pronunciation was correct or if that was clear. I believe the judges actually now have to learn cuneiform to make sure that it was being recorded properly. This may take a moment. It might not be a bad idea to check back in with us in a little while.
Oh, sounds good to me. I sure hope they get that settled. We will check in with you again not in the not too distant future. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Yes, you're welcome. What a great day for Vaguely Scientific.
So it doesn't sound like everything is going exactly to plan.
No, it doesn't. But fortunately, we're only halfway through the show, so there's time to turn it around.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah. Well, so question 2 this week comes to us from Dean. Where does the stork get all the babies? That's a good question.
That is a great question, and I never really thought about it until now. And now I have a lot of questions. Okay, so.
Well, let's compound the questions. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's compound the question. I got to start from the beginning. How did the stork start doing this?
Ooh, I have some information about that.
Ooh,
really?
Excellent.
I do. I like to look up folklore and mythology whenever we're on this show because I'm a literature person and Jim's the scientist.
Yeah.
So I learned that obviously we all know, I mean, starting from scratch, the stork bringing a baby is a euphemism for someone having a child, right?
Yes.
I learned that this comes from a lot of different places. One possible origin is Greek mythology. There was Garana, I think it might be how it's pronounced, the queen of the pygmies, once boasted that she was more beautiful than Hera. And since Hera has basically one response to everything, she turned Garana into a stork. And Garana was so angry about this that she went and stole one of Hera's babies. There's also some roots in Egyptian mythology. In ancient Egypt, storks represented people's souls. And since storks are migratory birds, there was like this belief of rejuvenation and people's souls returning every year to to reanimate the deceased. Yeah. And so this is kind of like from a lot of different places, but storks specifically bringing newborns to people, we think, comes from Germany. And this is because storks in Germany would fly south in the fall to migrate, and they would come back around March or April. So their return would coincide with a lot of births, which took place in March and April. So let me explain that.
I don't think you have to explain that.
Well, no. Let him talk.
So a child born in March and April was likely conceived in June.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And June 21st was a holiday called Midsummer's Eve, which was a celebration of the summer solstice. And let's just go ahead and say that a lot of babies were conceived on Midsummer's Eve. So it was a common time for babies to be born in March or April. And similarly, actually, we see this today. September is a really common birth month in our generation, at least in the United States it is.
Yeah.
And that is because New Year's Eve is a very popular time for that.
Yeah. I always gave my one friend a lot of grief because she was born 9 months to the day after Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she listens to this podcast, but I really hope she does.
I wonder what the percentage. Yeah. I mean, there's probably like a percentage what the biggest percentage of births happen. Yeah. I guess, right? Like, what's where are the most birthdays concentrated?
Right. Right.
I've never actually thought about looking it up.
Me neither.
The September thing occurs to me. So my birthday is September 30th. Mm-hmm. And basically everyone on my mom's side of the family was born in September. So like by the time we get to the end of the month, it's like we've had birthdays every day.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That's how my family is too. And it wasn't even on purpose, honestly. Like, my mom's birthday is December 18th, and then my sister's is the 19th, and then I'm the 21st, and then my other sister's the 23rd. So,
my whole family is like all like August, and then like August, September, and then I'm December. But I was 2 months premature.
Oh, okay. That's how my one sister was. She was supposed to be born in February, and she ended up on the 23rd. So
Yeah, I was a little preemie baby. I was like, man, yeah. So with the storks, there must be like there has to be like a facility, right? That the storks go to,
right?
You know, there's
right.
like a job. You know, like they're all like they have to hire them, right?
Yeah.
They don't just let anybody carry a baby,
right?
Yeah.
There's like an Amazon warehouse of babies somewhere.
Yeah, and so now we're creeping into like a Pixar kind of universe where like the storks can, because I'm assuming the storks can talk.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, why wouldn't they be able to?
Why wouldn't they? Right?
Yeah.
Because they're magical already. I'm assuming they have to be able to talk or communicate in some way. So the storks are like male people, right? And they're just like, they go to a facility and there's babies, but where do the babies come from?
But where do the babies come from?
Oh, yeah.
You know, are the babies manufactured?
So the storks get the babies from this facility, but then that adds further questions.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would be sort of like an assembly line where you start with, let me think, what order we have to do this. So you have you start with like the heart. This is like a Build-A-Bear operation. So you start with the heart. And then like all the other organs around the heart. And then you like sort of, there's a big press that squashes a rib cage down onto it. Mm-hmm. And then there's like these little arms that attach the bones and everything. And then there's like a laminator that attaches. Did you ever see The Fifth Element?
Yes.
It's like that, except less gruesome.
Okay. I also like the idea that maybe it's just like, it's like they have the shell. So it's kind of like, you know, that the board game Operation.
Oh yeah.
So it's like these these baby shells are like on the conveyor belt, and then like there's machines that just spray organs into them, like heart, brain, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they wrap them up in like skin, like a Saran wrap, you know, just to cover them up, and then ship them out. They cook them for 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
You know, baked at 20 minutes, 300 degrees.
Isn't this the opening of Boss Baby?
Is it? I've never. I've wisely not seen that movie.
I've never seen it, but I'm listening.
I don't remember. I know I watched it at some point for some reason, and I think it opens with like an assembly line of babies being
They're
created.
Just making babies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think it's reasonable. Because then, if you think about if they're making the babies the old-fashioned way, right? Then
the real way? Do you mean?
Yeah, like the the way, the normal way. Yeah. And so, but that opens up even more stuff, because then the size of the facility that you would have to have is enormous, right? So, and in this universe where there's storks that bring babies, then nobody having sex on Earth? What is the deal?
Or is there just no correlation?
Why do they get the babies and the other people don't get the babies?
Yeah. What kind of weird storks are we talking about
Also,
here?
when the stork delivers the baby, is it just like the baby shows up at the doorstep and then that's it? Or is it like, does the stork put the baby inside the woman? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it like a
like a reverse C-section?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Like, is it that way? Like, I don't know what.
I feel like, why do we need the stork to be the middleman at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you order it? Like, how do you apply to get a baby? That's what I want to know. Like, so like, yeah, like what are the parameters for the baby showing up at your doorstep?
Is there a Sears catalog for babies?
Yes.
So here's something else I learned. This all comes from the 19th century when like all this stuff was super taboo to talk about openly, right? So that's why storks.
That's why it became a thing, right? Because it was like people didn't want to talk about sex.
They didn't want to talk about sex. They didn't want to talk about birth, like giving birth. But Hans Christian Andersen wrote about this in a short story. But there was a folk tale, I guess, that babies, the question is, where do babies come from? Babies come from the dreams of their parents. And apparently these dreams float out into the world and collect over ponds and in caves. And it disturbs the storks' nesting grounds. So they have to pick up the babies out of the dreams and then return them to their parents.
Hans Christian Andersen's high as a kite. What is this?
I mean, have you read anything that he wrote? I mean, that's very common.
I was just thinking how funny that is to be like, because I don't know why. For some reason, last week I was reading about UFOs. and how like people said, "Oh, swamp gas," but like there's always these like will-o'-the-wisp lights in swamps from like the various vapors that come off of them, and I'm like, maybe that's an explanation for babies and aliens. Maybe aliens are the ones that bring babies to us. I don't know. I told you I'd work space into this.
You're doing a good job.
I mean, babies are essentially aliens, like big head, small body.
That's true. Yeah.
I've seen babies.
They don't speak English.
They don't they don't speak English. They only want to eat.
Yeah.
They want to eat, they want to sleep, and that's it.
My child is starting to get to the point where he wants to like bite, but not hard, just like play biting. And that's something aliens would do, right?
Yeah.
He's starting to assimilate into the species.
Yeah. Or he's becoming a vampire.
As we all must at some point.
I still think we need to address. Okay, so according to Hans Christian Andersen, we fall asleep. So do they? Okay, and does the dream only manifest when both people dream of it? Like if they're partners, right? Do they have to be both dreaming, and then both the dreams coalesce into the nesting grounds? When somebody says nesting grounds of the storks, I'm picturing some like Jurassic Park looking like these birds are not happy.
We're out in marshland.
We've woken them from their slumber. They're just like they're millennia old ancient beings, and they're disturbed from their restless or their slumber by human thoughts, and they're like
Stork elder gods.
Yeah, the Stork elder, like a Cthulhu-esque, like
oh no,
giant demon bird, and then they're like, oh, we got to deal with, oh no, and then they pick up the thoughts, and then they turn the thoughts into a baby, and then they take the baby to the people. Is there payment? Like that stuff like this isn't free, right?
That's
you
true,
can't just get things. Nothing's for free. You don't just get things.
Yeah,
right?
We leave cookies and milk for Santa. We got to leave something for the stork.
Yeah.
I don't know if there no baby dreams over the stork's nesting ground. It's protected land. Right?
Yeah.
Like, at this point.
Oh man, I don't know. I just I don't know how I feel about the fact that this was the best thing they could come up with to explain how babies like you're like I just picture like a bunch of people sitting at a table, like at a business table. There's like a haze of smoke. It's like 3 a.m. and they're all like disheveled and they don't know what to do, and they're like, well, God, we can't talk about sex. Like, what do we do? I don't know. What about big birds? And I'm like, what?
This is one of those scenes you see in the movies when like a kid asks a question and both the parents come up with different lies, and then they have to like fit them together in real time. Like that's what happened.
Yeah. I think that's exactly it. I just like, man, humans are weird, right?
Yeah.
Like we'll think of the weirdest things to not talk about something.
Yeah.
Like so strange. I want to be there when who was patient zero for this rumor? Do you know? Like what idiot? Like what are you? And nobody at any point thought about saying like what? You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna believe that.
You can't just go around telling people birds bring babies. They know.
No, they went with it. That's the problem. Is they went with it.
They did go with it. I don't know. It's like there's like a lot of problems in humanity that could have been solved by one person just putting up their hand and being like, that's weird, right?
You can't just say these things, Marty.
Oh my God.
Can we take a moment to appreciate how weird this is before we decide if we want to move on?
Before we move to press.
Yeah. It's like, oh man. I just think it's funny that the lengths we will go to not, because something makes us slightly uncomfortable. Actually, you know what it is? The fact that you don't want to explain to your children that this is the way things are. Yeah. The lengths that you'll go to like give them an explanation that's like, I don't know.
And it's not to protect the children at all.
It's to protect them.
It's to spare us a moment of discomfort.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's just like, come on. You got to be kidding me. It's a miracle humanity turned out the way it did. I mean, a lot of people would argue that humanity is not great, but I think that we turned out all right, considering that our forefathers, just complete weirdos, right?
Look at what we were working with.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a miracle of life, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe it.
We made it this far somehow against all odds.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible.
I'm trying to picture some sort of Lovecraftian stork nest now.
Yeah. You know, it looks kind of like something out of like a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. There's a fog machine on the ground, right? You know, like you can't see the ground.
You can see the ground.
It looks like Dagobah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Dagobah, you know?
Yeah.
Except there's not like a cute little gremlin that lives there. And...
But there is one of those big snakes that ate R2.
Yes. Yeah.
That
a big
is there.
snake. Yeah. There's a big snake there, and it's awful, and you don't want to go there because that's where the storks
That's where
live.
the storks are, and you'll make them angry. And
Yeah.
And then they'll turn you into a baby.
Yeah. No, they turn you into a stork
Oh, that's worse.
because they have to replenish their numbers, right?
Right.
Like, because I'm assuming they don't live forever.
That's where stork babies come from.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
If the stork delivers the baby, it's like a life for a life thing, right? Like they deliver the baby, you have to give them something in
You have to give them a stork.
you have to give them something to recompense for them bringing you your baby, right?
Well, that raises the question then, are like storks, like half of them are delivering babies, the other half are like Grim Reapers. And they're reaping these souls and then sticking them into new babies and recycling them.
Yeah. Is there hold up. Okay. Well, is there like a limit? Like who controls the amount of babies that come in?
It's just a symbiotic relationship that the species has. That's all.
Yeah.
We rely on each other.
Yeah. We rely on the storks.
Yeah.
They need new souls to feed their damned infernal machines. You know?
This is a universe we've created here.
Yeah, this is it.
I'm just like, I'm imagining storks that are like vaguely snaky.
Yeah.
And they like writhe.
Storks have definitely mutated in my brain to something.
What is it? I don't even like. I'm picturing a stork, but I don't think I know what a stork actually looks like.
I think it's a kind of crane.
Oh yeah, it's like
what the horrible thing is that I looked up a lot of pictures of cartoon storks this afternoon, but not a single real one.
Not a single real stork, huh? Yeah, these things I'm imagining they would be like 10 feet tall.
Oh boy,
legs like tree because they're big, right? They're not just like because like a normal stork's not going to be able to carry a baby.
That's fair.
True.
Well, I don't know. How strong is a stork?
Not easily, I don't think.
Yeah.
The baby's going to move. It's not going to sit still.
Right.
Like there's a picture here of the stork just carrying this happy little baby in a bundle. It's like that baby would not be smiling. It would not be happy. They're also like really high in the air. Wouldn't the baby just like, it wouldn't last, right? Like it's a
very precarious way to transport babies.
Yeah.
It's a low oxygen environment. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the flying thing, you know?
It's like the groundhog and the weather balloon.
Yeah. Jim, quit it.
What a nightmare world we've created.
Yeah, I like this though.
That's what we do. That's what we do here on our show. Well, listeners, let us know if storks one day stop being able to deliver babies. Will they? I don't know.
Well, before we wrap up here, let's go ahead and check back in with Jeremiah.
Good idea. All right, well, last time we checked in, there seemed to be some controversy. Hopefully they've got that resolved. Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Yes, Derek. Thank you for joining us again. I'm sorry to report that we have made essentially zero progress. Some minor progress. It was decided that certainly the number 60, as in 60, was said. However, the question has become a question of consonants. There's been an actual few fist fights that have broken out between the judges, the future judges, and the argument has been whether or not it is pronounced 6T, as in summer iced tea, the drink, or 6D, D of course being the fourth letter in the alphabet. 6T or 6D. This is of course the possibility to change the future pronunciation of numbers is important, and this is the first time. Oh, okay. Good news. It appears that the last member of the team of judges who wanted 6D, D is in Duracell batteries, The last person on that team has been knocked right out. The only people left standing are Team 6T, which is good. That means that we can proceed as normal. The bloodied judge is giving David the hand signal, and oh my goodness, I don't know if that has been picked up by my microphone equipment, but David has announced that he has lost count. The amount of time that it took for us to decide this important endeavor. He has actually lost his place in the numbers. We're starting to get a restless crowd. Some of them have already started taking apart their chairs to fashion into pikes. I believe the safest option, as much as we may not enjoy it, may be just to start back from one. This is starting to become very serious now. Please do come back to us whenever you can. This may be a great day for Vaguely Scientific and therefore the world, but it's not a great day for me right now. I'm terrified.
All right, we will. We'll check in with you soon. I hope they get that taken care of.
Yes, please. Please pray for us.
Honestly, I didn't expect it to be quite this life-threatening as it seems to be.
Well, you know what they say about time travel. It's all fun and games until somebody dooms humanity. Do we have any listener mail?
We do, and as always, if you want to send us listener mail, you can email us at feedback@vaguelyscientific.com. You can comment on our blog, you can like us on Facebook, you can tweet @VaguelySci, and this listener mail comes to us from our listener Joe P., who actually is the person who designed that really great fan merchandise design that we have in our store. And this is in regards to episode 96, Jailbreak Your Eyes. And Joe writes, listening to the most recent episode, no one chose to have cybernetic digestive system. Eat all you want of whatever you want, and your cybernetics can process the food to get maximum nutrition. In addition to that, it can get rid of a lot of digestive, arterial, and GI-related mental issues. Granted, it's a lot more complicated than an eye or heart, but I think it would do the most towards prolonging life. Yeah. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's factually. I don't know the episode, but I'm already like, yeah, this is the good answer.
Yeah.
Do you eat anything? So hold up. No, I'm not gonna. I don't want to go too deep on it, but okay. So you're basically one part of your body becomes a robot.
Yeah, I think that's what he's suggesting here.
Okay.
That would be great. Yeah, like you have a robot digestive system, and you can just
I would eat the weirdest things. I would eat an airplane. I would eat an airplane, like piece by piece.
Man, speaking of being like a stage magician,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So Joe goes on to say, also, I'd like to make myself impervious to pressure changes. Think of the changes that would make to exploring. Now you can explore the ocean floor and space with a thermal protective layer and a tank of air. Also, I could ride spinning rides without getting sick.
Ah.
Is like the bottom of the ocean really, how unexplored is it? I don't know.
It's pretty unexplored.
Yeah? Okay.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
We're not at the point yet, in the year of our Lord 2022, where we can just like go wherever we want, right?
No, yeah.
No.
We there's been a like satellite mapping has shown us what it looks like, but like I feel like every time someone goes down there, there's a new species we discover.
Really? That is cool, but also terrifying.
And they're all like glow in the dark jellyfish.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah.
Based on the size of some of the things down there, I think we should stop discovering new species.
Yes.
I want to tell you all about the vampire squid, which is my favorite deep sea animal. Its tentacles are webbed. So what it does is it can move its tentacles in such a way that it wraps itself up in its webbing. And instead of suction cups, it has spikes. So it just becomes a ball of spikes.
Ah.
Wow.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
All right. Well, it can stay on the bottom of the ocean.
It can stay down there.
Yeah.
Not bothering me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you very much for that email, Joe. And if you have a question that needs to be answered in a vaguely scientific manner, please email us at questions@vaguelyscientific.com. If you want to get our episodes the minute that they're released, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, all the great places podcasts hang out.
Yeah.
And subscribing and leaving feedback helps us out, and so does telling your friends.
Tell all your friends.
Our Vaguely musical intro is composed by Anthony Pizzelli. And don't forget to check out our merch store over at vaguelyscientific.threadless.com. I don't know, skateboards. I always say skateboards. It's the stupidest thing we sell.
You sell a skateboard?
Yeah, the Threadless is a store where you just upload patterns and then you just like check boxes and it's like sell it as a shirt or a skateboard or a coffee cup. And I was like, oh, I'll check the skateboard box.
Have you sold some?
Never.
Not a skateboard. Nope.
I hope so. I hope for both of you that you get somebody that buys the skateboard at some point.
The day someone buys a skateboard, I promise I'll never mention it again.
Yeah. Buy a skateboard so Jim will stop talking about it.
Yeah. Well, we should probably see if David ever finished the counting.
All right. Well, we are wrapping up this episode. I sure hope they managed to get through this. Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Yes. I am happy to announce that the matter has been settled and we have entered back into our numbering. David has actually been counting out loud in a clear, concise manner, and we are moments away from the correct full counting of 1 to 100. And
so exciting.
It's very exciting. The Mesopotamians, the future folk, and everyone in between are actually all appear to be rapt attention, very excited. We're witnessing history. We are witnessing actual history in front of us. As long as there is not a single mistake. And here, instead of a countdown, it's a count up. It appears that we are at, that's a 98, almost. And yes,
and
he has
have
fully
that
said.
One
Wait, everyone's
sequence.
cheering, but hopefully
1
they
to
noticed.
100.
I believe he pronounced
Well done, everyone.
100 wrong. He
our
said
job is done here.
humdret.
We can
Humdret. Hundret.
awesome. I'm
That
glad
can't
that.
be right.
Well, you're saying that he said 100, like HUNDRED?
We have not exact
Yes,
copy
that
yet.
should have been the correct way. 100.
Wait, so he said humdret?
Yeah, he said, David, as sure as I live and breathe, David said humdret.
Oh, well, awesome. That's
you want this
correct.
list of penalties?
Cool.
There
That was
were a lot.
narrowly avoiding changing the time.
No,
Yes,
I believe the timeline has already been changed. It appears that you're already pronouncing it that way, which is
Could have
it's
been catastrophic. I'm so glad that we have restored.
this is awful news. It's a
Someone please remove that
terrible
announcer. He
day
is
for
now
vaguely
American.
scientific.
Numbers 1 to 100, we are all good. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to 100 episodes of Vaguely Scientific.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you to Adam for being our guest.
Mm-hmm.
If people want to find more from you, where can they do that?
I stream on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Seabats, SEABATS. I do that like 5 or 6 days a week, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Cool.
And currently I am playing a Pokemon challenge run.
Oh,
where
okay.
I haven't played Pokemon since I was like 14. And I started playing this like pretty much blind, but you get like, there's a bunch of rules, but basically the gist is like, it's all randomized except for the Pokemon types. So like, I mean, Charmeleon's a fire, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But all the moves are random. The stats are random and the starters are random and everything's like way harder. I only get one Pokemon. If it dies, I restart the run.
Oh, wow.
And it, everything, like all the trainers are like 3 levels higher than they normally are.
Ooh.
There's a bunch of stuff, but it's basically just like, I don't know, 3,000 coin flips back to back. You lose one and you're like, oh, okay, I get to restart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing that. And I also do a lot of work for Loading Ready Run. You can find them on YouTube and also on Twitch under Loading Ready Run. And we do a lot of Magic the Gathering stuff, which is very popular. And then we do a lot of streaming. It's kind of like Loading Ready Run's Twitch channel is kind of like a TV station in that we have like themed shows every week and they're on at the same time. So it's like you can tune into the stuff that you want to watch. And
Yeah.
Nice.
oh, sorry. You can also find me on Twitter at Wake Up Super. But that's mostly just me posting gym stuff. So if you want gym stuff, then yeah, you come to my Twitter.
There's something for everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll try to make sure I get all these linked into our show notes on our blog, so
Yeah.
people can just click on a link and find themselves where they need to be.
So scroll
Perfect.
down if you're on a browser.
Jim and Derek, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks for
thank
doing
you.
that.
I had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a great time. Oh man,
Excellent. Well, you're always welcome back.
thank you so much for having me.
For Vaguely Scientific, I am Derek.
I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And a great big thank you to Anne, Sierra, David, and Jeremiah for helping us out with this episode.
Yeah.
And here's to another Humdrit episodes.
Toodaloo, everybody.
I'm also going to cough and clear my throat a lot because it's allergy season here.
That sucks. Yeah, man. Every time I see somebody with allergies, I'm like, you just live like this.
I just live like this. Oh, I'm
so awful.
I feel
I'm
not being rude.
No, I totally understand. Do your thing. Yeah. You can't, there's nothing, I don't know, you just lost the coin flip, right? Like
Yeah.
at birth, you're just like, I don't know.
That's what we're just going to do.
Sorry.
You just have to cough all the time. And
Yeah.
People, you know,
Brutal.